On this segment, what we want to talk about is a budget. A budget, one of the things a budget does for you, that it forces you to think, it forces you to plan, it forces you to put down your plans into work. As is popularly said, those that fail to plan already have a plan to fail. So budgeting is very crucial in your finances. Everybody has a budget. The federal government, everybody, the state government, companies, before they start their financial year, there's a budget of what to spend. They think through the things they really want to do. And if some of those things don't make sense, and they have to cut it out. So it's the same for you. Remember, this is about self-leadership. Personal finance is a component of self-leadership. If you can't lead yourself financially, you will not be able to lead others in your marriage. You will not be able to lead your children. You will not be able to lead your organization. So, budgeting is very important. I'll tell you one part about a budget that forces you to think, and that is by writing it down. There's something writing does to you. You get engaged, you think, you cancel out. And the thing about money is that for every dime you spend on something, it means you're cutting out from something else. Money is like time. You know, if you choose to go for an occasion, it means you've forgone so many other occasions. You've forgotten, you've forgone your La Liga games, you've forgone your Man U games, you've forgone the time to sleep, you've forgone. So, since money is finite, it's not infinite, it's finite, you have to plan on how best to use it. One of the things the budget does, so it gives you a roadmap. Okay, this is what I'm going to focus on this month. This is what I'm going to focus on this month. This is what is important. This is what can stay. This is what we can cancel out. This is what I can do without. And with that, it helps you to get to where you're going. The third thing about a budget is that, please, it must be implementable. Don't budget based on other people's purse. Don't budget based on expectations. Again, as Warren Buffett will say, you don't run your business based on the generosity of strangers. I'll say that again. It's something that it's very profound. You don't run your life or your business based on the generosity of strangers. Many times, especially in weddings in Nigeria, people plan their weddings and they'll tell you, oh, this uncle will give me this, that uncle will do this, oh, my auntie from the US will send me this. And it always leads to frustration because most times those things don't come. So a budget must be implementable. You must be able to say, I earn 20K in a month. This is what I'll do. This is this, this is that. This is what I can do. This is what I cannot do. The other thing about budget I want to talk about is that, please, you must detail your expenses. Some things are predictable. Your house rent is predictable. If you've paid this year and this month, that means in the next 12 months, you have to pay again. So you have to budget how you're going to save money to pay. School fees for children are predictable. September does not just fall on people. You have to plan. Yes, for the fact that you may not have the money, it's another issue, but at least it must be in your plan. So you must know what you spend on transport. You must know what you spend on food. You must know what you spend on raiment. And after you do all your calculations, what is within your budget, you do. One of the things budgeted also, I would like to admonish during budgeting is the culture of savings. What saving does to you is not how much you save. No, that's not the main point. The main point is the habit you create while saving. When I was doing my NYSC, then it was, I think it was 7,500. Well, I removed the money that I wanted to give to the place of faith that I worship. Again, let me put it there. Things like your tithe, your zakat, they're very important. There's this aspect of life that is spiritual, and you must also go in that direction. And then I put together what I had to spend on food, and then I put together the one that I had to save. At the end of my service year, out of about, 75,000 that I got, I think I was able to save between 11 and 15,000. It wasn't a lot of money, but it's a habit of, it's a person that I came out of. It's a person I became after doing that. And because of that, I was able to fund some things, like I needed to go out and look for a job. So for a part of my job seeking days, I had the money to transport myself, to do. Yes, the money ran out, but at least I had something. So the main aim of savings again is the habit you're building. It's not about the money. Because if you don't learn to save when you have small, you're bound to squander money when they become big. It is a given. It's going to happen. Another thing I want to talk about budget is the issue of budget misappropriation. We hear this a lot, but most times we hear it from politicians, and you think it's just for politicians. No. Please, you don't use your money for house rent, for food. You don't use your money for, it is expected you should pay your house rent. It's a given. So whatever you have said you're going to do, you don't use the money you want to give to your parents for something else. Whatever you say you want to do with your money, stick to it. If you must, waver on it, if you must change course, there should be a very good reason, not just I felt like. One of the things budgets does for you is that it curbs you from consumerism. It curbs you from impulse spending. One of my friends called it, it's popularly called buyer's remorse. But there's a name for it. I've forgotten it right now, but he put it in a way that it was very succinct. So, all in all, misappropriation should be part of your own DNA, in your DNA, not just things politicians say. Meaning, money that is a mark for something must be spent on that thing. The final thing I want to talk about budget sounds funny. I call it the Ashwebi economy. Please, it's not every Ashwebi that you must buy. I know in my personal life, I can count the numbers of Ashwebis I've bought. And it's not because I didn't want to support. If I want to give people money, I give them money. But how many clothes am I going to wear? Must I wear every Ashwebi? Must I go for every wedding? Must I go for every funeral? It's one life. Time is precious. Money also is precious. So you have to plan and do the things that are very necessary. Investment is part of the things you should do with your funds. I'm not going to be very big on investments because sometimes people are under pressure to invest. So even while they are earning very little and just trying to start up life, they want to invest. It is good, but please, investment must be done with money that is extra. So if in your budget there is investable funds, please use it for that. If there is none, because maybe the many things you have to do has consumed your budget, okay, not a problem, but by all means save. Investment will come, and please, before you invest a dime, before you invest a kobo, a naira, a dollar, you must learn much about investment. In one of our segments, I will be telling you more about investments and the things you should engage in.